Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Ross here, and this is World of Warships, but this ship right here is basically a Des Moines, but it's called the Salem Witch, and it sits at Tier 4, and this is part of the World of Warships event called Eerie Events. Now, there's two different ships out, a Tier 4 called the Salem Witch, and then a Tier 5, which is basically a carrier called the Phantom Fortress. Now, this is going to be two different replays that have been submitted to me from a player called Deprived Pickle, which some of you might be familiar with him. He's a little bit infamous on the North American server, especially for being a battleship captain. And I've already featured him in a different video with the upcoming, or new actually, destroyers from the Russians. Now, he's playing this, and let's get a couple of different things straight here, just to kind of clarify about what this ship is. So, things first is that this ship is at Tier 4 and can only be versus other Tier 4s or Tier 3s. You're not going to see this ship in any other format, and it's not going to be a permanent ship either. This is just an event, and the event is only being held until November the 2nd, so there's not that much time during this event. Now, during this event, the Salem Witch is going to be piloted by either super testers, people that have press accounts, which I am not one of them, or devs. So you're talking about probably maybe like 1%, maybe 2% of the total population of the North American server has access to this ship. Now, it's a special account. It only has access to this ship. They can't use other ships, and also none of the stats, none of the money they earn, nothing actually transfers over to their permanent account. But they will get a reward at the end of the, I guess you would call it quote-unquote season. But so will you if you verse in this ship and you actually win. So let's dive into that as well, about the actual release on the website, to explain more about what's going on here. So, as you can see here, this is actually straight from the website, Eerie Events, Rise of the Phantom Fortress. Basically, what is going to be happening is in PvP battles and PvP battles only, there is going to be one side of the team that only has 9 players, and another side has its full 15. Now, the players that are against this, or with the ship, either the Phantom Fortress or with the Salem Witch, if their side wins, or if you beat the team that has this ship, you will get a flag package at the end of the event. Now, there's two different ones. It's either on October 26th or on November the 2nd, and it's basically Mondays will be rewarded. Now, for each win, you're going to get 10 times of each flag, 1 of the Equal Speed Charlie London, 10 Zulus, 10 Hotel Yankees, and 10 India Bravos. Now, basically, these are all the, the money boost, the XP boost. I mean, you're really good flags. And you can win this multiple times. There's actually technically no limit. So a lot of people think that this ship and being in there, they say a lot of, funny things. They're like, oh, matchmaking's broken. Like, oh, MM, are you drunk and everything? But they're not aware of this event going on. And so that's kind of why I'm doing this video, not only to highlight this, because it's really fun to watch. Basically a tier 10 ship, because the Salem Witch is a Des Moines that's at Tier 4. It's a little bit slower. It only does 17 knots, I think top speed. Has the same amount of guns, has the same AA. Everything else is the same stats. The only thing it does not have is it does not have its anti-air defense ability. But it does have a sonar that actually reaches out to a range of 20 kilometers, but it can only be used, I think, like once every 6 minutes. And you can see right here, Pickle in this ship is just absolutely devastating this team. And, there is kill number 4 already in this replay. And, but you can see right here that the enemy team is in the cap, but no one's actually aiming at him. It is, a tier 10 ship, but it can still be penetrated, especially by, Arkansas's, the battleships, even the Kawachis. It's very thin armor and can be destroyed. And the concept of this is you really do have to work as a team, on the enemy team side of it. You do have 15 ships, you outnumber the enemy quite a lot, and yes, it is a tier 10 ship, and it can wreak havoc, but it can wreak havoc only if you are spread out, where he can concentrate his fire on one ship at a time and not be worried about getting shot from multiple different directions. So this is going to be the first game is actually where, Pickle actually wins. Now, if he does win, his team will get those flags at the end of the event. Now, if you guys win on the opposite side, you too will get the flags, but it's either or, it's one side. You can kill the ship, and if your team still loses, you're not getting any flags. So, the Wargaming has only put this out, and I'm saying this again just to make sure that you guys are fully aware that this is just a new game mode, and it is for a very short amount of time. This is nothing permanent. This is not that you're going to have these boss ships, throughout the entire, existence of World of Warships. It is for a very short time, and it's basically just for Halloween, even though they don't actually say it's specific to Halloween, because not every single country, in North America actually celebrates Halloween, but nonetheless, it's for Halloween. This right here is just showing that the tier 10 right there, 5 kills, airplanes just absolutely wrecked. A tier 4 carrier's planes are just get absolutely chewed apart when it gets close to the ship. Which, obviously it's a tier 10, But nonetheless, Pickle is, firing shots all over the place, and Citadel after Citadel. He's already at the 9 Citadels here, 175 shots landed, Confederate and high caliber in this game, and no one really is concentrating on him. He has right here just every single ship coming one by one, and this is just making it very easy for him to win. And a lot of people are calling this overpowered. People are saying, this is unfair. Yeah, it might seem a little unfair, but it's just that the game mode currently requires you to work as a team. I know that concept is really unbecoming to some of you. You're like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to work as a team. Screw my teammates. Well, if you do that, you're going to get absolutely wrecked and owned in this game mode. So you're going to see these ships, for the next, 2 weeks, and like I said before, they're played by a lot of different players. You have devs playing these, you have people that have press accounts, Twitch players, other YouTubers, also anyone that has a Super Tester account can actually get access to these as well. So that does not necessarily mean that everyone has the same, skill level as Pickle does is here. You're definitely going to see some players going into this, and, they're not handling the ship as well as it could be, and Pickle is not necessarily using this overpowered either. He's still helping you guys out. If you find yourself on the team of one of these Salem witches and you win, well, guess what? You're getting flags, so that's a really good thing. And everyone does want these flags. I mean, these flags are the ones that are going to give you extra credits per battle. It's going to give you 50% more experience per battle. It's going to help you with your repair costs, especially once you get to tier 8, tier 9, tier 10 to, get that 5% reduction. I mean, these flags are going to help you out. And, the more experienced players, probably in the game realize that as well. But it is a tier 10 ship, and you need to work as a team. You can see right here through this replay why Pickle is just absolutely devastating towards the enemy team is because he's getting battles on 1 versus 1. And a tier 4 ship being 1 versus 1 at tier 10 is not going to be a good ending for the tier 4 ship. But if you surround this tier 10 ship with destroyers, with battleships, even with cruisers, if you have even a 5-on-1, you are going to win that battle, and it's going to get burned down pretty fast. Remember that it is a tier 10, so it does have good armor, but it's not impenetrable. It is called a boss, but it's not a god. Battleships can penetrate it. Destroyers can absolutely torpedo it. It is slower and has a little bit worse rudder shift, so it's not as nimble as it is at tier 10. Cruisers, you're not going to be really able to penetrate it unless you get really super close, and so your best idea is to just use HE and burn it down, especially if you're burning down all the anti-aircraft. Then it actually gives those aircraft carriers a chance to actually get in close and do some damage to this thing. And this destroyer is trying to do what's right. He's trying to go in for that torpedo run, but it is a little bit too late in this game. And even though Pickle started out with a team that has less, he's going to win this with that kill. And so here's the results right there. 10 kills, 7 fires, 16 citadels. Pretty impressive right there. 250 plus hits. And you can see there 4,100 base experience, but again, nothing carries over. And look at that. That's over 240,000 damage, or close to it. Yeah, pretty impressive none the least. Okay, so same map, different game now, but this is a game that, unfortunately, or fortunately for the other team, depending on how you look at, Pickle is going to lose. And this is going to show you that this ship is not necessarily indestructible. This does not mean that you're against this ship and you're like, you should just write it off and be like, oh well, I can't win. Another thing to note that people that have this ship cannot division up with anybody, so this is, by themselves. If they leave, it still counts. You're not going to have any disadvantage if they get kicked off or if they leave or whatever. You're still going to get the bonuses and the rewards at the end. Now, the same thing's happening here, though. You can see, though, the enemy team is kind of split. And a lot of their guys are up north, and there's about 4 ships down south. And Pickle actually has some support as well from his team. And he's going to make short work of these guys. Now, you can see there, Pickle's aim is a little bit off, a couple times and everything, and then he readjusts, and right there, Citadel through the front. And I gotta say, I wish I did have this ship because this looks absolutely fun to play. You're talking about, that's 2 Citadels through the front, absolutely wreck that. And, I mean, you really would feel like a god, a boss ship, which I guess you really should in this, being in a tier 10 ship. Oh my gosh, that devastating strike was massive. Already at 4 Citadels and 2 kills, and again, making very short work of this enemy team on this flank at least. But the other flank is actually doing pretty well. They already sunk 2 ships. Actually, 2 ships have been sunk right in front of Pickle. But actually, no, those are the enemy ones nonetheless. And now he's working on this Wyoming, and yeah, I mean, it's really fun to watch this. At least it is for me, from, I guess, a YouTuber's point of view, and also just a good player. 7 shots right there landing, and he's taking off a good chunk of health, with each round going out, and making very short work of him. And a little bit harder, I guess, to adjust fire, or maybe not adjust fire, but to realize what's happening. Got some torpedoes got hit in there, took some good chunk off his life. The destroyer's helping out Pickle here to make sure that he can get some damage here as well. And I think that might be another torpedo hits. Yep, there he goes. 9 hits right there and dead. So now we have to move forward and everything, and Pickle is now coming in. You can see the enemy team is kind of pinching from the north. You can see they have A and B captured. They're working together, and they're rolling now. I would guess that would be called southeast. And but they're working together. And Pickle's team only has 2 carriers left, has a battleship and a destroyer. This Phoenix is gonna really hate life right here though, because it just beached himself, and yeah, that's not going to be good for him. Not going to be good for him at all. Pickle's readjusting, though. He sees another better target that's a little bit more flatter. He's readjusting. And you can see that he's definitely pushing his fire in different directions and not necessarily, remained tunneled or tunnel-visioned onto one target. He zooms out, he readjusts, he finds another target, fires again. And, this is not necessarily something that is always required for every single ship, because you're not going to be expecting to get kills every single time you fire. And I mean, he's not getting a kill every single time he fires, but I mean, he can really judge, like, okay, these rounds are going to land, that ship's dead. A little bit harder with a ship that is reversing, but yeah, already has devastating strike, Confederate and high caliber, 10 Citadels, and I think that's 5 kills. And his team is kind of surrounding him right now. He has that battleship to his right, and he has his carriers are way in the back though, so that's not very helpful. And the destroyer is off to his left. He's going to try to finish that cruiser right there and move on to more targets. And the enemy team is, still holding out on points. It's like, 500 right here to 242. So Pickle's team is still losing, not only by points, but pure amount of ships as well. Pickle has yet to use a single repair, though. He does use his first fire control, but not a single repair yet. Got that one as well. It's just amazing how fast these ships just burn down. Moving on to a Wyoming here, pretty far distance, 10 kilometers, so I guess not too far. And you can see there that the carriers are now gone, and also that Pickle has switched to HE to burn down this Wyoming and secure yet another kill for him. And this will make, I think, kill number 8 if he actually lands the shot there. You know, talk so highly about Pickle, but even sometimes he misses. He is still human, you know. And here comes in some torpedo planes. I'm surprised that the enemy carriers even have planes left in this late in battle. And that Wyoming is going shit as balls slow right now. Yep, but there's some good oh, yep, it's dead. Yep, 4 planes killed. He's got, what, a South Carolina in front of him and a Tenuru to his right for right now. And, yeah, he's kind of about to be surrounded. And I mentioned before how to beat this ship is to surround it. Use that teamwork and this overwhelming odds. You know, have 4 or 5 ships, you know, pounding down on this ship, you know, where he's not, you know, being supported by other ships. And right here, yes, he does have a battleship behind him. He does have a destroyer in front of him supporting him, but those 2 are going to really die pretty fast. It is kind of funny that not a single person got a kill on his team except for him. But, I mean, when you are in a tier 10 ship in a tier 4 game, I mean, it's kind of be expected. Now, these games are really fun, and I really like them, and I really like watching them, and they're probably even more fun to play, let's be honest. I mean, you know, being in a ball ship would be a lot of fun. And, you know, this is what you want to feel like when you get to tier 10. You know, having 2 tier 10 ships now, and this, you know, technically, you know, if I, you know, include closed beta, I would have had 5 different tier 10s. I mean, this is when you get to tier 10, what you want to feel like. You want to feel like this god. It's just at tier 10, you don't actually feel like that. Maybe sometimes in the Yamato, but you can see right here that now that he's surrounded, that he has multiple targets firing at him, that he can't really he has to concentrate one at a time, and he's going to take some torpedo hits here from that destroyer that he just killed earlier. If he got hit with maybe 1 or 2 more, he would have died right there. That was 15,500. Maybe 1 more torpedo would have actually sunk him. He's going to take out that destroyer right there. Now he has a cruiser and a destroyer in front of him. He's only down to 1,100 health, and he is getting hit pretty good right now. And they're not letting up, and also they're not backing off and being scared. I mean, he's the only guy that's left. They are winning 800 now to 356. So they would technically win on points, even if, you know, Pickle actually was able to win this out in this duel right here. I think he's going to kill this cruiser right there. There's another cruiser. The Tenuru just popped up behind the hill. He has a ship behind him as well, which I think is actually the carrier. Maybe going for the ram. Or is that maybe just torpedo bombers? I don't know. But look at this shot right here. South Carolina, 1 salvo, 3 citadels. Devastating strike, and that is a double strike right there. He has 600 health left, and look at these torpedoes. They're too close to arm, but the last one gets him. And look at that. So that's a total of 181 hits, a little bit less than last time, 12 kills, Confederate, high caliber, 2,600 base experience, which is, yeah, okay. But look at that, a little over 200,000 damage. Absolutely amazing to watch, and a really good game. So you can see this ship in port right next to the Phantom Fortress, which is not in this video, obviously. And by the stats, you can see it is a tier 10 ship. If you guys like this video, please do hit the thumbs up. It means a lot to me and helps me out greatly. If you're new to the channel and you like this video, please do subscribe and join my community. As always, though, I'm the Flying Ross, and until next time, I'll check you guys later.